Hello, hello, hello. It's works time. How am I doing today, Zandy? I am hanging in there. Um, Admittedly, things are a little rough, not just because of what happened on Thursday, but because of just some general struggles. One thing I am gonna do real quick is we're turning on follower only chat on Twitch. Because of what happened recently. So, but no, generally speaking, February into early March are kind of tough months for me. Here to hang out? Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, February into March are kind of tough months for me for reasons I don't really want to talk about on stream at the moment. But so mental is down. The job hunt's starting to take its toll on me after 4.5 months of more ghosting than what you would find in a Mario Boo house. And today only asserted that with 8 more application rejections in my inbox when I woke up this morning. So, just things are hard right now. To the point that I've debated giving up on the job hunt completely and just trying to see if I could go into full-time content creation type mode. But I don't even know where I would start to do that with. Because, whatever. But I made some things work a little bit. So I've got a little bit of breathing room where I was able to get YouTube Premium now, so this music in the background will no longer get randomly interrupted by ads, and it makes opening up a new avenue of content for me much less of a pain in the dick. Because one of the things that I actually kind of wanted to do was to not react to it because I've seen it, but I wanted to talk about the Xal'atath cinematic. So I plan on doing something like that. I don't know if I want to do that on stream, if I just want to record that and throw it up on my YouTube channel, but it's something that I've thought about doing. And going from there. So but I'm just trying to keep focus on as many positives as I can. January was the best month I've had as a creator in over 2 years. Probably closer to, actually, I won't say over 2 years. But it's definitely been one of the best months that I've had since the beginning of the War Within. Frankly, when my monk guides kind of popped off a little bit more than I expected. So I'm taking stock in that from both a Twitch standpoint, my streams have consistently started to feel healthier, and then in terms of just what I'm doing mostly, I mean, yeah, people are showing up and I love that people are engaging when they can and stuff like that, but just it feels better from what I'm doing to sit down and kind of discuss all of that and have those conversations and stuff like that. But from my own personal standpoint, I feel better about everything. And then, my YouTube channel doing way better, and that's without things like many reaction videos, like my music reaction videos for a long time propped up my channel. And, you know, the couple that I did in January did quite well, but like they weren't the things that were holding up the channel in terms of view hours, watch time, and stuff like that. It was my WoW videos again, which I mean, I somewhat expect because we're on the precipice of a new expansion. This is usually the most popular time for videos. But it's definitely one of those things where like it feels good to know that like the decisions that I made to switch off from face camming into this journey that I'm on now, it feels much more justified. And so it definitely like makes me feel good that I'm on the right path with this. You know, it's gonna take months probably. Plans today, good sir? Patch day stuff, for sure. Open up vaults. I did the rat raid on my paladin after I ended things last Thursday, so I've got a vault to open on him, plus my 3 normal characters. And I might mess around and see if I can find another melee character that I want to play. Survival Hunter is doing what Hunter does, where it just doesn't click with me in the ways that I hope. So I might... So I might be looking into some things. I'm also testing some software, so switch over to WoW gameplay here. But I am trying to make use of things like StreamerBot just to try and add a little bit more, and I'm slowly playing with the waters. Like, one of the things that I'm very bad at is keeping up with multiple chats, and I want to be able to communicate more with anyone that happens to be watching on YouTube. And my Streamlabs program struggles to always update me on when people follow the stream, because I found out like 5 people followed my stream last week, and I did not acknowledge them at all, and I feel awful about that. Now, followed while I was live, because I had two or three people that followed while I was offline, which is fine. And I tried to shout them out when I saw them, but for the most part, like, so I'm playing and toying with some new tech with my stream. So there might be more integration with that. I am also looking at adding little things like and I've got to talk to someone that using it. I got to see how they incorporate it, but I want to add a channel point redeem for being able to roll a d20, and you just have to ask it questions. Hey, Emery, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. Thank you very, very, very much. So I'm looking at adding in a couple of things that are going to hopefully increase the fidelity of the stream, make things a little more interactive. I mean, because I have all these plans for when I eventually get my 2D model, which right now my plan is to have that by summer. And so, but I have like all these plans for things I'm going to do with that. And so things like rolling a d20 that you know pop up on screen somewhere where you like, you know, you treat it like a question, or you, like any comment that you want to put in there, obviously within TOS for Twitch. I want to do that. I want to add a couple of other redeems that make things a little more interactive. I know once I get my 2D model that I will do things like the it's funny, it's called the TIT system, but basically what it is it's the Twitch integrated throwing system, where I can basically make it so that you can throw something at my like VTuber model, and that'd just be a fun way just for you guys to interact. And like when I make a stupid play or when I do something silly or whatever the case may be, there's a way for that to be like recognized, not only through some of my sound alerts, like I have my, I think my Dumb Ways to Die one, I don't remember if I removed that. I updated my channel point redeems, which I encourage you to use if you want. Some of them are sound alert based. Like I have the Obi-Wan Kenobi hello there, for example. Not yet. Not yet. You will eventually be able to throw things, and I know you are going to, and I know you're going to abuse that, Emery, and I want you to do that, but there will also be a small cooldown on it, just because it will overheat my machine if I let it go too heavy.
Casual Emery played Dumb Ways to Die for 500 channel points.
Ooh, I gotta turn that off. The TTS was supposed to be for the specific TTS one, but whatever. I'll fix that later. Or I'll fix it on break when I take my little break. But yeah, the channel point redeems, like I straight up encourage people to like, you have 10k points, good. Use them. That's what they're there for. You know, I've got infinity because I'm the streamer, but you know, some of these, like the suggest a poll one, like you can do that, like pancakes, waffles. Like I would love to see a bunch of silly stuff on the suggest a poll one. Obviously the Uncle Iroh quote, but like Crab Rave is a sound alert. Toss a coin to your Witcher is from the show. Probably gets my stream bonked on YouTube, but fuck it. Same as Soda Pop. Texas Peach Guide the Raid. It allows you to tell me who we're going to raid that night. Epic Sax Guy, of course, is that. And then John Cena. And then I have another one that I'm going to be adding here soon, where it's going to be basically a pure point dump, where if you have like 100,000 points and there's not really anything that you want to spend it on, I want you to be able to just dump the points in that. And basically it's going to be me poorly singing on stream. I say poorly, but like it is, like, for the most part, because I live alone, unless I am doing like an interview, like I had one this morning with a company. We'll see how it goes. I feel good about it, but it'll be there. But the other thing is I'm pretty tone deaf until I hear this thing. So it'll go one of two ways. There's a bass singer called Jeff Castellucci. I've reacted to him plenty of time on my channel, on my YouTube channel. Go check that out if you haven't. But one of the things that I am going to do is I would sing songs to him, whether I play his music on stream. Again, that'll probably get me copyrighted, but I can always play it from my phone with an earbud in, and I'll sing like 30 seconds to a minute of a song of his, or from a group called The Bass Game, because that is much more my natural range. I'm not going out here singing, you know, Golden or anything like that from that standpoint. Like I'll figure out a way to drop things like freeze and octave down or whatever, but for the most part, I do not put the evil on me of trying to make me sing something way out of my range. You're going to hurt yourself, and I'm going to hurt my own throat doing that. But I'm not against doing something that's a lower range. I am openly willing to embarrass myself for that. So off we go. All right, so Paladin just got a shoulder upgrade. I don't care. I'm probably not going to play a bunch of Paladin. I like Prot, but Ret and Holy are not the play. All right, so let's check in on the mage. I mean, you can. It's just going to be bad, and it'll be. I'm assuming it'll all be clip worthy. That's the point. We're good. I don't mind. Look, I don't mind embarrassing myself because, frankly, like, I was in drumline as a kid. Like, I did some crazy, ridiculous things. I know I have the capacity to make very, very stupid faces, and that's fine. Like, that was never the reason why I went behind the avatar. It was more everything else. So, we'll see. Myth track shoulders. We'll take it. Oh, I guess, is this character eligible? Ooh, oh. I'd say someone I hadn't seen in a long time is on, but I forgot she's back playing WoW for TBC. Okay, not in this character. I'll have to do it on the DH then. You know, so I'm okay with like doing stuff that's a performance that's like meant to kind of be quote unquote embarrassing or whatever. Like, those are the types of things I have zero problems with. Like, I don't mind doing stuff like that in public. Like, it's fine. You know, the reasons for going behind the avatar, generally speaking, though, like everything else that comes with being on camera. I didn't mind making a fool of myself. I even purposely did some stuff that was quote unquote over the top with its reactions, and that was kind of by design. And on purpose in a lot of ways. You know, and admittedly, even in my reaction, like, you can see it in my reaction videos as well, that, like, sorry, my brain is all over the place today. I did not eat lunch, which is dumb because I did, like, a full body weight workout today. And I did a focus on chest and core. And then I took a walk afterwards. I drank some water and then took a walk afterwards. By the time I got done with the walk, which was, the walks are now, well, I hadn't done one in a couple of weeks, admittedly, because between weather and sleeping patterns getting all fucked up and stuff like that, you know, it was what it was. But today I actually woke up around like 9:30, I think. And so I was able to and actually motivated, and I actually like pushed myself to get out of bed. So like overall, it's one of those things where you know, I kind of did that, and I ate a small breakfast, but then like, yeah, I did all that workout, and then I realized I was, even though I drank a lot of water, I was still pretty still feeling pretty dehydrated, so I ran to the store and grabbed a couple of Gatorades just to be something a little different. And then but I also grabbed like a little bit of candy for intending to eat after, probably during officer meeting, frankly, because I have an officer meeting tonight. Oh, that's the other thing. We will be ending stream in about 3 hours from now because I have officer meeting at 8 o'clock my time, so that's 3.5 hours from now. So tonight's stream is going to be a little shorter than what I normally do. I try to normally go 4 to 4.5 hours. Tonight we're only going to go do 3.5. I'm cutting that hour off from you. But I will do what I can to try and make up for it later in the week. Whether I just add a little extra time every day or I do an extra hour on another night, we'll see. I did post my stream schedule up on Blue Sky. I need to put it up on Twitter, but I generally don't fuck around on Twitter right now. So tomorrow we're going to see what we can get into with doing weekly keys on the Mage, the Evoker, and the Demon Hunter. But I may also jump back into Star Wars The Old Republic and continue the consular story that I'm on, that I've been enjoying. I've actually been enjoying the consular story and having fun with that. And then Thursday, there's no events planned, so I'll do a longer stream there. That'll be kind of the same thing, messing around with any ads that need to be done, anything of that nature. And then or messing around with any keys that I need to finish up. I might do a little bit of mount farming because I do want that new 600 mount, and I think on this character I'm sitting at like 400. Yeah, I'm at 418, so I got a long way to go, but I might try to go farm a few mounts. Probably on the Demon Hunter because I can get around the fastest and kind of knock that out. And go from there. So if anyone knows any tools for like where I can go get some quick easy mount drops from, please let me know. You know, and there's some like classic rep farms I'm sure I could do that need to be updated. Like I know, like, you know, like I'm friendly with all of these or neutral with all of these. Like I know there's probably a character that I'm not that way on, so I could mess up with that. What is... gross. And then Friday I will probably do the dojo raid. We'll start up in probably a game, and then at 6 p.m. is dojo raid, which I don't know if Zandy's still here or not, but I don't know what I'm bringing to that yet, because if I find another melee character that I really enjoy, I will maybe bring them along. I'm gonna mess with DK. I'm gonna mess with Rogue. And then not Warrior, not Ret. Not really interested in either of those. But I might mess with Enhancement Shaman again. Just to see. Keep debating if I want to keep or make this my primary DK. Shaman is a trap. I know. And I never stick with it, let's be real. You know, but like, you know, I debate. I'm just debating. Should have gone to the bathroom before I booted upstream. Whatever. We're getting our Endeavor. Are we getting close? Oh, nice. We got all of our Endeavor items. So if anyone needs the Drakthir Endeavor, I've got you covered. Have one of those. Have one of those. Okay. Long way to go to get to rank 5. Oh, we do these just because I want the community coupons. I need to test something. That's what I thought happened. Okay. State of matter. Oh, shift. Fucking Christ me. Oh, fuck off. Come on. Alright. I think it's just the class talent trees for Demon Hunter that got changed. Oh, it still could have. That's right. I forgot they made that change. Okay. Let's see. Let's update this for raid, so I don't really care about half of these talents. We don't even have Emma Aura. Okay. Let's grab Misery for the hell of it, and then get... Hydrate? I just saw that, Zandy. Sorry about that. Appreciate that. What did you see works? As I heard my name. Oh, I just caught your hydrate redeem that you put up like a while ago, and so I drank up the little bit of water that I need to refill here. Hey, 6 grams. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hope your vaults were good. I need to open up on this one. The Evoker got nothing. Got coins that I just put into gold. Hey, Coops. And then the Mage just went a couple of tiers up on an item, which is nice. So okay. Let me make sure this didn't change for the other specs and I just missed it. Yeah, so for those that are just joining, just open vaults. Like I said, I got one on my Paladin that I did for our quote-unquote rat raid. So it's just Devourer that changed. Nope, okay. Good. Alright, let's see. What do I grab here? There's no mover build. Probably just do this. Yeah, so you get to see, if you've never seen them before, what the Apex talent looks like. It's just a bar down here that you're going to do. Which I think is much more clean than like random circles sitting right here that like looked like they were supposed to be part of the tree, but really weren't. I kind of wish they were right here in the middle, because you have all this space here. You might as well use it, but they've elected not to do that. Going through, I've got mover and no mover build set up for this, so I have to do these on every single freaking one, which is annoying. What? Oh. Okay. Alright, I'll come back and do the endeavors here in just a smidge. Actually, I need to be in Devour because I want to check something. I need to know if this change went in, because I didn't see it in the patch notes, which scares me, and I'm convinced that I thought it was there. So like I need to see this. I have to clock back into work in 15 minutes, and I hate everything. Well, I appreciate you taking any time to be here with me, Emery. Oh, I know, I just won't be chatting, and that's fine, and I appreciate that. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I never want people to feel compelled to sit here and talk to me. Like, you don't have to. Because believe it or not, I'm not that bad at talking to myself. I do it in my car all the time. Alright, I need to see if they implemented this change. They're supposed to make it so the collapsing star... I did it at Disney. I did it on the drive to Disney for sure. Well, I won't even say I did it on the drive to Disney because I was listening to a 10-hour Teen Titans video essay. Good. Good. It's implemented. Fuck yeah. Alright, so it's official. Collapsing Star no longer consumes your souls on cast, as you can see here. Still sitting with 30 right here. Boom, went off, and cast goes. So that should hopefully, for those that play Devour or interested in playing Devour Demon Hunter, that should make it so that when you are so that if you have to move for a mechanic or you get interrupted for any reason while you're in the middle of Collapsing Star, you will no longer lose it. So that is fantastic. That makes me very, 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 very happy. Oh, also, again, for those that have not messed around. So one of the cool things that's going to happen, you can kind of see it already. I don't have my view distance up, but let me get up on top of this. Let me get up on top of this mountain here. So you can kind of see the swirl there in the background. If you have your view distance, you have a good enough computer. This has been sitting here since pre-patch launched, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that. If you've come to Stormwind at all. You can't see, obviously, on Orgrimmar because it's not the same continent. At least I don't think you can. But this is here in Stormwind for those that play Horde. This swirl popped up when pre-patch launched. Because way up there is Quel'Thalas in the Sunwell. So once the expansion launches and that the events of the cinematic actually come through, you'll be able to actually see everything happening over that. Yeah, the Void Storm over Silvermoon is forming, and then when the events of the introduction quest to Midnight happen and you come back to Stormwind, which I imagine a lot of people, Alliance players, still will come back to Stormwind, even though you can do everything you need to in Silvermoon City. You actually be able to see this, and one of the cool things on beta is, even though you can fly like from the very beginning of the expansion, one of the cool things is that like I've actually just mounted up on a ground mount and run from the northern end of Silvermoon City to where the Sunwell is at, and just run that and just kind of take it in the sights, and it's actually kind of a cool little thing to do. But yeah, I just want to point that out because I happen to be thinking about it, and again, my brain's all over the damn place right now. So, all right, let's do these if we need it. By the way, if anyone needs the Is Silvermoon going to be cross-faction? Yes, but there are certain sections of the city the Alliance are not allowed to go to. Like, I fly over them as a Night Elf, and it'll say, like, the guards are keeping close watch on you or something along those lines. And if I try to hang out in that part of the city, it will kick me to the outskirts of the city. And yes, flying works there as well. They actually remodeled the entire zone for this expansion, so if you like the TBC version of that area, the Ghostlands and all that, it's getting completely overhauled. For this expansion, so What the hell? So I have a question. Before today, I was having trouble collecting enough souls to get a cast collector start before Votomorphosis dropped off. What the hell are you doing wrong? What build, Coops? Because that is going to be an important part of how I answer the question. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to Dornegal here in a little bit and show this off on Devour. I forget that you're a Sylvanas stan, Emery. I am not. Though, to be fair, I don't really like any of the Windrunner sisters. You're gonna give me my mommy elves. I want, well, Tyrande, mainly. Because them shoulders. I'm not, but I'm also not wrong. I don't know about that. Look, I respect art. Like, art like that deserves to be appreciated. Them shoulders. Oh, wait, these aren't the ones I gotta yank. I lost something real quick. Hang on. It's important to me. There we go. Yeah, one of the new things, and I'm going to incorporate this bot a little bit more, I think, for certain things. And then I've been talking to a couple of other streamers about how they implement some things. But, like, I'm going to... I got to keep my streamer bot stuff up because it allows me to see all chats, and it actually is accurate on my event feed. I enjoy the Windrunner story, I just don't like any of them, but their story is good. I actually can agree with that. Like, believe it or not, like, I can actually relate to this not in a Warcraft way, but actually in a Lord of the Rings way. So, I actually cannot stand the Hobbits. Like, Merry and Pippin have their moments, but, like, Frodo and Sam, I can't stand them. Like, my enjoyment of Lord of the Rings is mostly through the Aragorn story. With Legolas and the Gandalf story as well. But I can also appreciate the fact that I know that the Hobbit story is powerful. It resonates with a lot of people. And going from there. But, like, yeah, I just don't... It's starting work. May it go by swiftly, Emery. Thanks for chatting. Appreciate you lurking while you're working. But I can appreciate that the Hobbit story for a lot of people is, like, the reason they love Lord of the Rings. It's just not for me. I much prefer the story of Aragorn and his journey throughout the story more than anything else. And, you know, I resonate much more tightly with the story of that. So I can see people who are like, yeah, it's a good story. I recognize it, but it's like not my thing. Like, that's kind of honestly the way that I am with that too. I understand it. Okay, so it's a Delves open world build. Okay, let's take a look at this. Right, I'm not going to show it on stream unless you tell me that it's okay. Class tree, yeah, nothing wrong in the class tree. It's fine? Okay, so we'll pull this over real quick. All right, Coops, let's look at this. So over here, so you're doing the Scarred build. Actually, I need to pull this to the side and then pull my talent tree up. Honestly, what I would probably do... Now, I don't have a Delve specific build, but we can play off of the raid build. I would probably drop the Reap damage and grab Sweet Release. Like, you have this talent right here, Soul Shaper, marked in. I would drop it and grab Sweet Release because that is actually giving you more Soul Fragment damage. Anything that gives you more Soul Fragments, I don't think in any build you can skip that. Umbral Blade giving you a hasted Reap cooldown, I'd probably yank that out too and put the second point in Sweet Release. Other than that, I don't see anything wrong with that build. But yeah, I think Sweet Release is such a huge factor in the build right now that I kind of wish that it was the central talent point and that Improved Consume moved over a slot and then these two talents were combined into one. But yeah, that's the build right there that you're getting. The other thing to remember about Soul Glutton is that, and with the way that Scarred plays with this, is that until you kind of get your Apex talents, Collapsing Star is actually not the focal point of the build as we are in it now. It is a situation where your goal with the Scarred Glutton build is that you want to get in and out of Void into metas as often as possible. So yeah, you want to do damage while you're inside your Void meta for sure. It's not like you're ignoring that. But with the way the build works is that Hungering Slash and Void Blade are like they kind of become the stars. But yeah, if you're looking to try and set yourself up to get more of that, yeah, I don't think Sweet Release can be skipped in any build regardless, just because where like you're going to be in combat for more than a few seconds. Like it could be skipped in a leveling build. Like actually I'm going to do this. I will make a leveling build for Devour. I do not recommend this build. I want to make that clear. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all of this done. So you're going to need Vengeful Retreat. You're going to need Vengeful Bonds. You're going to need Shattered Restoration, even though, actually, you could probably skip this talent point because you don't need any of these. I would grab Focus Ire, and of course you grab Pursuit, grab Disrupting Fury, Blazing Path, Aura of Pain, and then I would grab Burn It Out, especially once you get into this Blamon area. Bellfire Haste, Soul Rending you're going to grab, Illidari Knowledge you'll grab, Guile you'll grab, Will of the Illidari you'll grab. Let's see, I've got another point to spend. Yeah, might as well grab Shattered Restoration then. And then what I'm actually going to do is have you come down here. Obviously, you need, I think blurring on cooldown is going to be so important. And then I'm actually going to do this. That way you can move around faster. And then you put your last 3 talent points into Furious, Final Breath, and then Remorselessness. Because you don't need Darkness ever while you're questing. I'd do this for like leveling, where you don't actually collapsing star anything, because for the most part you're not going to be in any specific build long enough. Sorry, I had to think about that one for a second. But like, this is what I would do for like a leveling build, and the big key talent to it is going to be Vengeful Bonds, because you need that slow in order to give yourself enough time to get some consumes off, so that you can then Void Ray or something like that. But this build, you are going to be doing a lot of using of your recuperate, or you better have some food on you. Because I just think that the build is kind of too squishy, or the spec is too squishy for it to actually like matter. Collapsing Star on a leveling build, yeah, unless someone else is like, if you're, and I say that from a perspective of solo leveling. Like, if you're going to be doing a leveling with a group where you have like a dedicated tank that's going to go round up an entire area of mobs for you, then yeah, I mean, go for it. Grab a Collapsing Star build, especially if things are going to live long enough. But I just don't see in the leveling process things ever living long enough to where that's going to be worth it. So, I mean, I'm personally going to be playing... I'm going to be making a Havoc build, because I probably am leveling solo, or I'll be leveling with my brother, one of the two. And then going from there. But I'm going to be playing leveling, because he's either going to be playing Priest or Warlock, so I'm going to be the guy that's going to be kind of face-tanking stuff. Now, I could play Devour in that instance, and he could just, if he's playing, especially if he's playing Warlock, then he could just bust out Blueberry. And it'll be fine in that case, but, like, I'm going off of the assumption that he's going to be playing, because he's probably going to play Affliction as my grade. What's crazy is Blizz really pushed this Collapsing Star talent. So I don't think they always... I think they kind of knew that with the way that they designed this spec, that Collapsing Star is kind of quote-unquote the high point of the spec, to where I think they're always going to tune it, especially at endgame content where it's useful. I don't think they really think about how something like Collapsing Star is going to work leveling, because generally speaking, the player base doesn't care about how talents work leveling, so why should they? Like, that's not effort that they should really be putting into it. Like, the things that they really need to be thinking about when leveling is, A, are the stories good? Is the general content fine? Like, is there anything that's overly annoying? Are there crazy bugs that are breaking quests? And are the mobs overtuned? Like, if they're undertuned, fuck it, leave them. I don't care. But if they're overtuned, like, that's something to obviously consider and think about. Because, like, if someone that's, you know, mythic level geared has to, like, stress themselves out trying to kill a simple mob, then, you know, there's a problem, because obviously your, you know, run-of-the-mill average setup player is not going to have the same luxury of strong gear, or if someone's leveling a remix tune or whatever the case may be. Then, you know, those characters, if they put no work into them, they're at eye level 102. Obviously, the pre-patch event is 121, which means that you'll get through basically the first zone without having to upgrade any gear. But yeah, but I just don't think they see it that way. I think when they design their classes and what they want the high points of a spec to be, they're looking at it from endgame content, which is, I think, the way that they should look at it. Like, they shouldn't design classes for leveling. Like, all classes should be able to level. I mean, we've seen the healer damage changes over the last number of years that made it so that healers could level effectively by themselves. Well, I won't say effectively. They could level by themselves. But, like, even then, like, if they're in, like, the middle 50% or in, like, within 3 to 4% damage-wise at the end game from top specs, like, I mean, you can even level, frankly, as Augmentation Evoker if you wanted to. Again, I wouldn't because it's not efficient, but if you really love Aug, you can do that. Because despite everything, the spec does enough damage that it can kill everything in the solo world. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I just don't think they care about leveling and how things work while leveling. I think they only care about endgame, which is the way that it should be. The big concern that I think Blizz should have is that if we get the end game and then Collapsing Stars not being taken. Like, I think ultimately at level 90, especially once we get, this rank 3 here, where, hang on, gotta plug in my headphones. Low battery warning. There we go. Once we get this last rank here, which is, causes your soul to rip, generating 5 soul fragments and granting immediate access to Collapsing Star. I think once we get that, even the Scarred builds won't have a choice but to take Collapsing Star. So in a way, right now, Blizzard has kind of designed it so that... Nice portal. They've kind of designed it so that you are going to have to take it through the Apex talents. And for Devour, the Apex talents are huge damage boosts. So I think that's going to make things better. And then there's the... Is it in this tree? It might be in the other tree, where every Collapsing Star increases the damage of the next one. So you're getting that Collapsing Star off the start basically for free, plus 5 fragments. And then if you do the fun little... it's not even all that hard. It's not like mind-breaking to have to do this, but one of the things that I've been trying to make muscle memory is that when I start to get to the fragments that I need, or if I hit the 50 fragments or the 35 fragments that I need before I go into Void meta, I Void Ray so that I get all those soul fragments out. Void meta, Reap to collect all those souls, because that procced Reap will be higher DPS than or we'll gather up those extra souls. And then you Void Ray again to get extra souls out, and then you Reap again, and you can immediately, between the 5 of that plus the souls that you can get, I mean, I've gotten, I think, up to 18 off of that. I mean, you're sitting at like 22 to anywhere between 20 and 25 fragments almost immediately. And then all of a sudden it's only 2 consumes into my next Collapsing Star. Like, it's gonna be nice if I don't have to deal with random BS mechanics. And now that Collapsing Star is on cancel, not or on cast completion, not cast start, that makes everything significantly better. So when we enter Void Meta now, I will have all those souls there. Yeah, so let me do the Forge, and I'll go to Dornagal, and I'll show you. Let me do this real quick and get the last decor item that I need. So give me like 3 minutes. Oh, wait. Do you have Rage now Legacy? Nice. I mean, the only mod collection that I want to do is Nerebar Palace. I want the Mythic Evoker mug. But I would definitely go back probably on Evoker and collect those too. Weirdly, like, I kind of like Evoker mogs almost more than anything else. Mainly because you can't see them. There we go. Alright. Now that I can read. Okay. Okay. I really have to go to the bathroom, so I apologize. I'll show this off to you after your coops. I really need to do this, so apologies. I'll be right back. Enjoy the music. Alright, I am back. Apologies about that. So, I didn't mention this, but I am getting sick. So, I've been running a 99 fever majority of the day today. And when that happens, my acid reflux tends to get kicked into overdrive. And so I've been struggling to hold down food, which means I've not eaten a lot. So the little bit of food that I have held down today is kind of insane. All right, so let's show Coops this here. So yeah, so the souls thing, like this technique does work. It actually works quite well. Am I in the Mythic Plus build? Let me do the Mythic Plus build. I need to test it in raid. Problem is that like the Friday Dojo raid is nothing's gonna live long enough for me to try it there, unless they're going even in heroic. So it's got to be like a high key situation for Scarred, but there's no good setup for that. So yeah, all right. All right, so we're collecting up here. All right, so you can see we're at 50, and you can see I've got one soul out. We have 5 out. We have 6 out. All of a sudden, now I have 10 out. So yeah, it does stick around, the amount of souls that you have. So it's a really good way to quickly get there. So yeah, that's kind of like the play that you're going to start to see. I think a lot of people do. And the thing is like, I think it's... Yeah, so here's the Collapsing Star Song that I was talking about. I'm trying to remember where the talent is at, but there's a talent somewhere, and I don't know if it's maybe in this Annihilator tree or not. It's one of those, but because Void Ray resets when you go into Void meta, you always want to Void Ray meta and then Void Ray again, so that way you can get that quick thing, and it significantly slows down your Fury generation at the start. So yeah, there's a lot of value in doing it that way, and you do keep the souls around. Luckily, the buff tracker does God's work for me on that. No, and it does pretty good damage. I mean, I was barely playing at max and did, was it like 20,000 XP, 20,000 DPS burst or something like that on a single target, so. Oh yeah, I am not bothering with that one. Generating the loot for Devourer, but... Oh, well, that saves me time. Sackroot, unfortunately... Ooh, actually... No, I don't care. We're going to do the belt. Belt's the biggest upgrade. Then I'll get a 13. Let's see. So what keys do I have? Floodgate, Streets, and Gambit. Not bad. Not bad at all. We even got speed on that bad boy, so now I'm up to 7%. I don't think I have any crash. I might be able to upgrade this. But gotta be a good boy and upgrade the other stuff first. I don't think I got any free upgrades on this one. Nope. Okay. Well, that now takes me, I think, every single piece is hero tracker above now. Yep. Everything's hero tracker above now on that character, so we'll take that. Alright. Now I'm going to mess around with some shenanigans with Shaman. Let me try Shaman first. So let's grab... Alright, enhancement. Oh, it didn't bug out and do all three like it did before. They must have fixed that. And then we go to this setup. Alright. This is my horde house that I've done absolutely nothing with. Yeah. Alright. Time to get a build. I legit don't know what to play. Hi, we're nuts. I kind of just don't know what I want to do with it. That's the big one. Got the Highland Drake customization off Sakura. That is awesome, Coops. Congratulations, dude. Love that for you. Love that so much for you. Still can't solo that first boss in Emergensil. The treat Naru. Oh, you go in, does it go into its root phase and you can't break the roots fast enough before you die? That's what's happening there. Okay, so let's mess around with some key bindings here. Oh, okay. Where the fuck is Surging Totem and why? What is it? Billy so steps away from the computer. I'm on Discord with him, but he's not spoken to me in a few minutes. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, find out what's going on there. All right, Astral Recall. We always put there. Oh, I hate when this happens. Wait, where's the portal out of here? Oh, right there. Okay. I'm not familiar with the Horde neighborhood at all, and it shows. Alright, let's look up a basic rotation for this. Okay. Sure. Alright. This is why this city sucks. Swear to God. No, not up there.
Over here, champion. I've tracked the cultists' activity to
Dude,
the
this
caves
city
below.
sucks. I
We
fucking
have
hate
to
Orgrimmar.
root out these cultists before they spread their corruption. Find and eliminate them.
What now? Goodbye.
Oh, cooldown manager. That's what I forgot to do. Okay. Damage meter? Yes. And cooldown manager. Alright. Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Voltaic Blaze, Broadcast Lightning, Doom Winds, Surging Totem, and Wind Shear. That'll work for now. Sorry, I had to set that up real quick because I kind of forgot about it. You're telling me there's no... Fucking hate this city. You are fucking kidding me about this. Apparently all inside the Cleft of Shadow. Like... It's more I'm just looking for a reason to bitch and complain, let's be real. Thanks for the lurk, Emery.
You have any news? Hone your senses. They're your greatest tool.
Well, I'm just looking for a reason to complain, I think, right? Because everyone that holds up Orgrimmar is some great city. It's fucking nuts, man. I can't find anything in this damn city.
Blade are indeed recruiting here. I suppose it's imperative that we stop the Twilight's blade at its source, the Twilight Highlands.
Plus, this gives me a little bit of like reps with the gameplay and like lets me adjust with what I need to do. Like, turns out I actually need.
To you, Umbric.
Need Maelstrom weapon on there?
The eternal sun still guides us. What is it? Infiltrate the cult and see what you can learn. But do not succumb to the allure of their sermons. We may have removed the cult's presence from Orgrimmar and Stormwind, but their numbers still grow. This is a staging ground.
Okay. I have all that. Let's see. What's the currency?
The Twilight's blade seems a lesser threat.
Oh, I don't have any yet.
Every practitioner of void magic is a threat, Umbric. Have your own mistakes and misadventures done nothing to teach you that?
Did they make it so that you just stack up your healing surge now and you don't actually have to like spend Maelstrom on your healing spells? Because if so, that's kinda neat, not gonna lie.
You, Acolyte, haven't you finished your training? Where is your talent? Watch and learn. Do you have a question? Prove yourself as one of Xal'atath's faithful. Only then may you attend the initiation ceremony.
No one thinks it's weird that it's just random wolf is popping up and destroying their stuff, you know? Ignorant Clucker is hilarious.
You appear to be ready for your initiation now. Let's take heed of Mordune's speech. Our leader's words have set many cultists' hearts afire. We are the Twilight's blade, the void black dagger Xalatan wields against. We cut deep. Blood, carnage, we shall strike at the heart of Azeroth and end this flawed world.
Excellent work, champion. I believe we have learned enough here. Time to tear this camp apart. I will meet you back at the base camp. Our fight against this cult is only beginning.
Alright. So we're just messing around with Enhancement Shaman, kind of playing with it. I've been looking for another melee to play other than Demon Hunter. Obviously, I have Evoker as my range class. I have Mage as a range class. I have my tank and healer of choice this expansion, so I'm just looking for some other melee to play, because I've always loved melee, just... Alright, we'll wait on the big guy to respond.
You still haven't learned. The Twilight's blade will be your end.
Yeah, I don't know what's causing me to have such slow, Oh, this is Curse. Okay. Yeah. Adding Queen, thank you very much for following the Twitch channel. I appreciate that greatly. Welcome into the nest. For those of you that maybe aren't aware of who I am Worix. I am a owl slash, well, mostly birds of prey, but kind of been leaning a little bit more into the owl aspects of things lately. PNG tuber. I'm hoping to get a full 2D model later on this year, where you can actually see me being expressive and stuff like that. I focus mostly on World of Warcraft. I like to try and target my... I'm a guide writer for Demon Hunter, not through any major site, but I just do the videos on my own as a side gig. And then I like to also try and... make guide videos for... It'll be Demon Hunter and Evoker, but whatever class I main, I try to do guide videos on it. And I aim those more at beginner and intermediate level players, so that this game, which has a lot going on in it at any given moment in time, I could kind of be the guy to hopefully just help you get a good foundation to build off of. As I get more comfortable and more knowledgeable about classes, I have thought about doing more sort of advanced tips and trick style guides for those that are more advanced users. But frankly, if you're someone that needs that level of guide, you probably shouldn't be watching me in the first place. Let's be honest and real about that real quick. Because I am not someone that's like super advanced. I'm not into the math of a lot of specs. Like, it's not something that I go out of my way to do, is get real deep into the weeds of like
Many of our soldiers captive. Free them
of how certain specs work and stuff like that. But I have a YouTube channel that I strongly recommend you do. If someone could exclamation point YouTube, that'll pull up the channel link for that. Well, the old channel link, it still works, but I gotta update it. So I am there. Definitely, if you are interested, subscribe there. I'm also going to be doing some work on, or I've begun the initial work rather, on setting up for doing some early season 1 basic routing videos where I kind of go through. Genuinely curious, is the Owlbirds a very part like a persona? No. So I'm not a furry. I no shame to those that are. I've always had a soft spot for birds. I've had pet birds in the past, and I've always been sad that, you know, it's always kind of difficult. I can't have pet birds now in this apartment that I'm in. So every VTuber is not necessarily a furry, or PNG tuber is not a furry either. So a lot of the times we like to take things that are like genuinely like personable to us and work with it, or they like the idea of, you know, a little bit of role play, which again, not limited to furries in that regard. For me, I just like, you know, I kind of am taking aspects of the fact that my VTuber, or this PNG model, does look older. Because I am older. I'm closer to 40 than 20 by a significant number of years. And so I kind of play into this, like, the idea that I'm kind of trying to play into is I'm kind of like just your stereotypical dad that likes to play video games, in this case WoW, but I stream other games as well. And I also happen to like birds, so you implement that a little bit into the avatar to make it, you know, something that I can't be in real life. I can't grow the plumes and stuff like that on an owl and stuff like that. So no, not a furry. No disrespect to those that are. But no, I really like birds. Owls in particular are a favorite of mine. So I just play into that with this avatar and go from there.
I shudder to think what awaited them. Excellent work. The cultists have a number of elementals bound to their will. Do what you must to break them free.
And today I'm just kind of messing around with some other melee specs that I either am not playing a ton of, or just specs that I'm a little bit curious about that aren't warrior or ret. Because I am an ardent melee enjoyer, and right now, I believe it or not, only have one melee spec that I'm playing, and that feels weird. So I'm working to change that. Maybe I find my fourth character after all. So we're starting off with Enhancement Shaman, which is Admittedly, probably the spec that is the least likely to land in my thing. My initial impressions of this haven't been... I'm not impressed so far. It feels enough of the same that I don't particularly like where it's at. But at the very least, I'll finish the weeklies off, and then I'll switch over to... Dude, where are all these elementals? Everyone killing them? And then I'll probably switch over to Rogue and then test DK at the end here. I am only going to be streaming, just as an FYI. I am an officer in the guild that I am a part of in this game, so we have an officer meeting at 8 p.m. Central Time. It's about 2 hours from now. So I'll be ending in about an hour and 45 minutes or so from there, just so that I can heat my food up and do that. Obviously, I'm not broadcasting guild meetings, so normally I try to stream between 4 and 5 hours a night. To get back to the explanation of me, mostly a WoW streamer, but I play other games. I've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Star Wars MMO, just to have something a little bit different to play, especially with WoW kind of being in a period where it's not going on. As Andy said, if you have enough DPS to push an hour route past his route phase, then yeah, you can get him on Mythic. The damage profile doesn't seem to have changed from when I've tested this far. Yeah. I'm not surprised. That's probably what's getting it. And then it just takes forever to get the routes down. Oh, that's corrupted elementalist. It's not even. Ah. So yeah, so I've been playing other games. I've also been dabbling in things like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've got Rebirth in the queue. I just gotta keep space open on the hard drive because it's a huge freaking game. Like, holy crap, is it massive. You know, I mentioned in the title possibly playing some Heroes of the Storm tonight, depending on how things go with some melee testing. Go from there. So my goal is basically I like to take games and kind of either just let people have fun watching me play them for the first time, or I try to, like in the case of WoW, I like to try and like take the aspects that I've learned over time that people find like scary. Like a lot of people are like, I never want to tank because I feel like I have to know all these things in order to do it. And I try to take those aspects and go, well, there's actually plenty of ways for you to do those roles, and the stuff that you need to know is either very easy to learn or it is not as daunting as you think it is. Boot back to you, Emery. So that's kind of my goal with doing this. I just try to have as much fun with it as I can. In the meantime, I am currently one of 2 raid leads from my raid team. That is a mid-mythic level guild. I try to be involved with the Dungeon Dojo as often as I can be. You know, and I